Well, hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube art tutorial channel. I'm a professional artist working from my studio in Essex in the UK and painting plein air in the countryside. Well, the exercise is purely working from a sketch that I made a while back in water-soluble graphite pencil. And all it is a windmill, ply mill, on the Norfolk coast with some interesting clouds. Well, I'm going to use a pencil just to find my horizon line anywhere across there. Nice to be equal both sides, or fairly equal. The windmill or ply mill stands about there. It's got this lovely dome top, more of a Dutch sort of feel, I suppose, in many ways. And the sails come down like that, and the other sail comes down like that. So that's all you need to do for that. Oh, and we do have a fantail at the back. Okay, there is an outbuilding there, one or two other outbuildings there, but let's not get too technical with that. And then some distant greenery. There is a bank that runs all the way round and back like that, and that will be our path that leads the eye in to the picture. And that's all the drawing you need with just a simple pencil. I'm using 3 brushes, a large round, a medium flat and a small rigger. Just simply 3 brushes. A small amount of water in a water jar. Could have more than that, but that's all I've got at the moment, so that works. And a selection of colours, but obviously the colour we use is not the main thing. It's really about tone. Let's learn to paint wet into wet. In this case, it's going to be clouds. So we thoroughly damp the brush and we sweep it across the paper, laying on plenty of water, but remember that the board is best at a bit of an angle and not dead flat. And I'm sweeping across the paper. It will dry from the top first, but I'm not leaving any areas that I haven't damped. This is 140-pound not surface Bockingford watercolour paper, and I'm finishing right the way along over the mill like that. And as you can see that ring from my ring lamp, it's nicely damp. Now I'm starting with lemon yellow with a nice light red in there, any red will do, and I'm starting off with just allowing the wash to redamp the paper like that. I'm adding a little bit more red to this as I come down. I want to get an illusion of a bit of cloud work. There we go. See the way I'm sweeping across, as did the look of my sketch that I've made. Then I'm coming right the way down to the low area there. And that is all I'm going to do for the first washes. Now I'm adding a red with a blue. Doesn't matter which red and which blue you use, but I would recommend you use the blue that you've used in the original sky to create the orange colour. And all you do, you fully load it and you sweep across and watch it, see it explode on the surface. And that is wet into wet. That's the real essence of watercolour painting, as far as I can see. A little bit at the top there, trying to vary it a bit. Now as I come down, I'm painting smaller areas till we get right into the lower area where we're just dotting one or two clouds in. There you go. Now this colour is now going to continue into the landscape like that. So you're pulling that colour down or blending that with the landscape as far as just where the track or the little walkway comes. Then I'm adding a bit more red to that, not too much initially, and this time I'm going to show where that track actually starts. There, like that. A bit more red in there. And what I do to this side, I'm going to do to this side. There we go, it's nice. And notice I'm still painting across the paper. Just bring that down a bit, just to give it a bit more perspective. There you go. Notice how I'm painting across the paper. So all you got to do, just relax when you paint these sorts of things. Right, bit more red as I come forward. And although I'm picking up the walkway or the area, this is going on to dry paper. The way I want to do this is to create the illusion of some little lighter textured areas either side. See where there's a little bit of white shown. Now the next thing we need to do is to get some real dark colour in to give tone, because obviously with this type of painting we do have dark areas because of the brilliant sky above. And I'm going to put in a dark area there just under where the mill will be, like that. And I'm going to put in another dark area there just along that horizon line, like that, pretty much straight. Then I'm going to leave some light areas. Then I'm going in with some more dark tone, and this is just more blue and more red. And where it's beginning to dry, you notice that it's beginning to lay a bit better on the surface. Yeah. And then finally, where it has dried, just sweep it across. Very quickly, pull across the paper. And you must allow your watercolour to work on the paper in its own way. Now, while these beginning to dry, don't forget there is a little bit of shadow work that's just laying along the edge of that border. So I will put that in now. And that really needs to be allowed to dry. Now, I'm using the flat purely to paint the track. Doesn't have to be a flat, but I could have gone in with what I have, my larger brush, but let's just use this flat. And I've mixed together a touch of the yellow, touch of the blue, and a touch of the red. And that is in a medium tone mix, not light, but a medium tone. And I'm leaving a white edge on the left hand side because the light is coming from the right. And as I come forward, I'm adding a little bit more red and yellow to try and get the illusion of light cast onto that track. And by using those same colours, that should not be a major problem. Now I'm going to do the distant land, little bit of distant land here. I'm going to start near the mill and put in, I know there's one or two buildings there, so let's just put in one or two roof indications of roof areas. and a little bit of indication of greenery. Notice how I'm using the side of the brush, just the point of the brush. Good idea to actually get used to using, you know, the same brush for lots of different elements within your painting. Then I'm coming straight across because that's where the mill sits. Then I'm just giving this a little bit of texture by just pulling down like that and twisting the brush, because I want to show you how to paint simple distant trees in a simple landscape, using the point to turn in to get the overhanging branches. No detail, just pure suggestion. Now this bank here is slightly darker in tone. It just sweeps and disappears there, and little area there keeping to the left of that white paper that remains on, and notice how that area gets wide as it comes forward. It's like a blue-grey really, just a little touch as we can go around the corner, and then gradually I just want to deepen that up just a touch. There we go. Now under the fantail we may see just a little darker area, and you may see a bit of the support of the fantail, but we don't want to get into too much detail for that. And would we see any? May see a little bit of shadow on the underside using the rigger there, putting this on the top of that one just to ring the changes, and the underside of that, and that indicates some form of, hinting at detail really. Now I'm putting in the main shaft that runs to that center bolt in the middle. Just tidy that up. There we go. Now to justify that shadow, I'm going to stroke a shadow across this foreground. So that shadow needs to extend across there like that. Okay. Then I'm going to join up those two shadows to create the illusion of some form of, shadow work that, and we can also show a little along the track like that. So it gives that track just a little bit of life, and that really is just blue and red. And now I'm adding yellow to that, so it gets quite a dark sort of green, because with the brush only just lightly loaded, I'm going to give an impression of some detail, and I know this does grow quite good reed beds. So that's what this is. That's the reed beds that are growing up in to the sort of light area really, or down into the light area, whichever way you see it, like that. Just gives texture, and still you can still see some of them little touches of white paper that runs through there. 1 2 little touches there. Oh, and also we'll have some here, may as well match it. Now that's pretty much finished, and as you can see I've got tape that I've taped around the edge. This is only an optional thing that you could do if you wished. Just be careful you don't tear the paper. Page did allow it to go completely dry, but I'm going to tear this off all the way round and then we will be able to see exactly a nice sharp finished edge. Well, there we are. That's the finished painting, and I'm just going to sign it. Always sign your work. Now I'm going to sign it in the red I've used for the rest of the painting. Recommend that you use the paint that you've used in the rest of the painting, and I'm actually going over to the left hand side. So that's going in as STEED. That's my signature. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching me paint this very simple subject of a windmill, ply mill, or a version of ply mill on the Norfolk coast, simply painted and ideal with 3 brushes and a small number of materials, a red, a yellow and a blue. Any red, yellow and blue would have suited this. The colours would be different, but it's the tone, the light, the mediums and the very dark colours. That's the key to this painting, and that's the key to most watercolours really. So if you do have materials left over or given to you over the Christmas period, then you know, get them out as soon as you can. Hope you've enjoyed watching, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.